So welcome everybody. Once again, my name is Garrett Sussman. I'm the head of marketing at Grade Us. Today for the Grade Us office hours, I am joined by James Friedman, who's one of the Grade Us engineers. Thank you so much for joining us today, James.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
So we are going to reveal what is a brand new feature in beta that hasn't even been released. I'm glad you're here because we are going to make this available for people to start trying out. There's a cost associated with it, but we are launching integrations. And so I'm going to walk you through what that entails. I want to say, and Sam, our product manager, is in the audience as well, is one of the reasons that he's been talking about this for a couple months in terms of why we pursued integrations. And what he discovered talking to our customers and to other people interested in Grade Us is how important when it comes to a jobs to be done, what is the purpose of Grade Us? One of the main value props, the jobs to be done, is getting more reviews. And we want to make that as seamless as possible. And one way to make that as seamless as possible is to automate the process. Make it so you don't have to always go into the system and upload, your customers or your clients' customers on a one-by-one basis. And one of the best ways for us to do that is to begin to integrate with the apps that you or your clients are already using. And so with these integrations, what this is going to allow you to be able to do is to automate that process. So you connect your Grade Us account with these various apps, the accounts on those apps, and then you can set it and let it. And so those apps will automatically send customer recipient information, their email and their phone number, to Grade Us to automatically send out a review request based on whatever configuration that you have set up in Grade Us. So ideally, this will keep the process of asking reviews very smooth. It gives you more time to focus on other marketing activities. And so over the course of this process, we reached out to all of our customers and said, what are the most important apps for you to be able to access and automate this process? Now, we will be adding more apps over time. This is literally just the most popular two to start with, but we heard from our audience, and those were Salesforce and Mailchimp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. You should all be able to see my screen now, but please confirm that that's the case. Can you all see this beautiful little Grade Us Best Buns, which is a little bakery right by me that I had to set up because they make amazing bread. Can everybody see my screen? James, are you able to see my screen? Just want to make sure that I don't start doing this and then I get there. Okay, Sam says he can see it. Beautiful.
Yep.
So what you'll notice that's different from what we normally have on the Grade Us profile. If you look, thanks, Roger. Oh, good to see you, Roger. Thanks for joining us today. On the left-hand side, on the side nav menu, you have this integrations tab. Now, you might not see it yet on your profile. We will begin to roll out to everybody over the next couple of months. One thing I'll say, and I'll say this again at the end, is if you are interested in integrations, then what you'll want to do is reach out to our product manager, Sam at grade.us, and just tell him that you're interested in trying out integrations. He can give you a little bit of background in terms of what you need to know. But to get this feature switched on, all you need to do is send over that email. So you have your Grade Us account, you're in the profile that you want to connect for integrations. What you're going to do is come over to the integrations tab on the side here. And you will see this beautiful little design that Sam has put together where it's really simple. I mean, the truth is it's really simple, and that is the goal here. So you'll see Mailchimp and you'll see Salesforce. You'll basically want to configure either of them. So you'll click on it. It'll load up with, connecting your account. So like with Salesforce, you can use this with your existing instances. With Mailchimp, you'll be able to choose between, both so like with Salesforce, you can choose contacts and leads and just leads. with Mailchimp, you'll be able to choose between your account and your specific lists. So here I'm going to walk through the way it works with Mailchimp. So you click on the configure button, and then we'll have the ability to connect our account. So see here, it says I can't get the audience until I connect my account. So you'll click here, you'll click add new account. Now we will set you up with your own authentication name. You can choose whatever you want this to be just so you can keep it straight. But once I click the add, you'll see the authorization, which basically asks you to connect your existing Mailchimp, or in the case of Salesforce, your Salesforce account. Yes, Falana, Sam's email is sam, S-A-M, @grade.us. Okay, so we'll log in here. Beautiful. And Sam included it in the chat. Thank you so much, Sam. Okay, so you'll see in this situation, and this is for like our agencies, if you have access to clients with multiple email address or multiple accounts, you'll be able to choose between the account that you have access for that specific client. So in this case, the way I had it set up for this demo is I'm going to use the Fan Booster by Traject. Fan Booster, for those who don't know, is the social media management software that's part of the Traject family. So it just asks you to connect to Trey. So we're gonna give Trey permission. Beautiful, really simple. I mean, the whole process is so smooth. I'm really impressed with the way like the engineering team has like designed this and made it as easy as possible. So now you can see it says authentication for Mailchimp successfully created. Now I can choose my list. So I have all these different lists in this account. I've set up the test list in Mailchimp. So I'll click finish. Now, so it'll give you this option of whether or not you want to bulk upload current contacts. Now, just like with normal Grade Us, when you upload this, it will upload all at once, but the recipient and the review requests, the way it's sent out, is based on your settings that you have configured in the review request for this specific account. So I will show this afterwards, but if you have it set up where it's only sending out 10 a day and it's automatically activated, if you add 100 bulk uploaded current contacts, it will only send out those 10 if it hasn't already. So keep that in mind. Make sure you have those configurations set before you bulk upload the current contacts. Okay. And then, so to clarify, to answer your question, Falana, yes, this will pull the Mailchimp emails and phone numbers and names into Grade Us. And so this will be based on a list that you have in Mailchimp. So I'm going to say no thanks in this case. And that's all there is to it. It's now live. So we're going to show you how this works. So I went over to Mailchimp and see I have my test list here. And so whatever you currently have configured for your automations with your email marketing, you can have this set up to work with Grade Us. So right now I'm going to add a contact. So we'll click, and so if you have something automated with like a different POS system that pumps into Mailchimp or some other CRM that pumps into Mailchimp, it will automatically, every time a new email address, contact, phone number is added to this audience in Mailchimp, will automatically send it to Grade Us. So I'm going to add a subscriber. And please feel free to leave questions in the chat, and we'll answer some questions at the end as well. So I'm going to put in my Garrett@ByTraject email address. And this person did, in fact, give me permission to add them. Okay, and so I'm going to subscribe them, subscribe myself. I think you're allowed to do that now. Okay, so I am now in here. So you should be able to see me. So now when I go back over to, okay, so I have myself as a subscribed contact, make sure that this is all working. We'll load that up on Mailchimp. Okay, there I am in there. So now when I come over to Grade Us and I go over to my review requests, Super exciting. The anticipation is just killing y'all, right? Okay. And so in this case, I had it to auto activate and I had how many per day for 10. So instead of going to the in queue, boom, magic. Not really magic, a lot of hard work and sweat and tears, right, James? So basically now you'll see I am in my normal email review request campaign. It just had the email address. That's all I have sent up for this account. So it'll now send out the 3 emails over the course of 3 days. You'll see that 1 is sent. And so now you can see that I've received, don't judge my Walmart email, but I have my Best Funds email. And so now I've got my normal email. The whole process is automated. So I'm really excited about what this now offers to grade us in terms of both Mailchimp and Salesforce. Andres asked, so can I upload 2,000 people from Mailchimp and only activate 300 at a time every day? Great question. So the way it works is here in the recipients tab is where you will be able to configure how many per day that you're able to auto activate. And you can set this to yes or no to auto activate. Now, my recommendation here is you really want to have it configured with the volume that you're typically going to send here, because naturally we want people to receive the email somewhat recently after they had an experience with the business. You don't necessarily, like, for a lot of times when people are just starting with Grade Us, they want to upload like 1,000 people and just get 100 reviews all at once after having never gotten a review before. That potentially could trip some sort of like Google review, flag. So my recommendation is just make sure when you're doing that it goes with the volume that you typically expect. What will this come out of beta? We're going to do some testing over the next couple of months, Andres, but for those of you who are just coming in, if you want to try out, there's a cost associated with this, but if you want to try out integrations, you reach out to Sam at grade.us and he'll be able to turn on the feature. It will be at an additional charge, Jordan. I believe the first integration to try out is free. And then after that, it'll be additional charge that Sam will be able to provide. What is the next integrations that you're looking at? So James and I were talking about this right before, and Sam's in the chat as well, so feel free to chime in, Sam. But James, what are some of the integrations that we're potentially going to add over the next few weeks and months? And remember, this is mostly based on what our customers have already asked about, what our current capabilities are. And one thing that we would love to get out of this office hours as well to start thinking about is if you have specific use cases of how you actually want to use integrations, please include those in the chat or set up a time to talk to Sam and James because they would love to know more. Thank you for joining us, Sam. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Sam. I'm the new-ish. I can't really say I'm new anymore. I'm the product manager on Grade Us. So, been working hard on this one. I think Garrett set it up beautifully. So like what we've seen, I've talked to a lot of you guys already, right? Is that these automations are super important for you guys, and getting your clients to log in every day and upload their contacts is a real headache. And so this is a great way to kind of meet them where they're at using whatever tools they're using, and provide them that value. Because I think we all know that like if our clients don't send out review requests, then they're not getting the value of Grade Us and their churn risks. And so this is a really great way for you guys to have an add-on charge for your clients. So we have agencies that are going to charge $100 per seat for an integration like this. And you're going to, at the same time, you're going to bring in new revenue. So you can kind of like help them kind of like grow. So, and if they grow, they stick around. So it's just a really cool feature. We're really excited to give it to you guys. It addresses kind of like a lot of the things you guys have told me about. So super excited. Some of the questions here. So
great questions. I'm excited for you to dig into these.
Yeah. The next integrations that we're looking at. So we put a poll out, and around 100 people responded to it. The ones that came out on top were Mailchimp and Salesforce. The ones that came out directly underneath that are Constant Contact, HubSpot, and QuickBooks so far. And the one that comes in just underneath those guys is Infusionsoft. And so if that, but we're open to hearing from you guys about how, like, if you know, constant contact is very popular, so that's probably one we're going to hit next. But if there's anything else you guys have that seems like would be better for you, then we're open to hear it. We're definitely in early days here. Is Grace compatible with Constant Contact? Not yet, but that's one where we're looking at, Brett. That's a great question. Deb asked,
One thing I want to call out too, real quick, with QuickBooks, we should clarify that I don't know for all of you who use QuickBooks, it's really common, but there are two versions of QuickBooks. There's like the online and the desktop, and I think we're specifically going to work on the more popular one, which is the online, I believe.
That is correct. Unfortunately, there's not really a great way to integrate with the desktop version because it can be offline. You know, it's not like a cloud software the way that the online version is. From what we understand, the online version is a bit more popular anyway, I believe.
Cool. And the other thing, as Sam keeps mentioning, sorry to jump in here, Sam, but just specifically with QuickBooks, we know there are so many use cases about how you want to use it, like depending on your interaction with your customers, your clients, whether it's like an immediate transaction or an invoice or something more complicated than that. We want to make sure that we are able to get the automation to accomplish what you want. So it's really important for you to communicate what you're thinking to help the team, engineer their magic. So anyway, Sam.
Yeah, that was a really good call out. Yeah. And yeah, so QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks is definitely a little bit more complicated than your Constant Contacts and your HubSpots. So yeah, those are really good things to call out. Andres asks, can we activate 300 every week instead of every day? Andres, there isn't a feature necessarily to do that automatically right now. You could drop that so that you can just divide the 300 by 7, but that's a really interesting thing to call out, and maybe it's something that we can work on to give you more like scheduling ability on how many get activated every day. Andres also asks, how much is this going to cost? So this is going to be tiered based on what your plan type is right now. What we've seen so far is that almost all of our competitors charge $25 or $50 per integration, and so we do not want to do that. We do not want to do that. So based on your plan type, it's going to dictate how much each integration costs. So us having these integrations costs us a lot of money, and so we're trying to make sure that, but we're trying to be super fair with you guys, and maintaining them costs a lot too as well. So on the in the agency tier, which I think most of you guys are at, it's gonna be $15 per integration. When you get up to the higher tier, your enterprise level stuff, it's gonna be $10 per integration. And then our professional tier users are gonna be $20 per integration. Most of you guys have 1 or 2 seats. And again, these will be the cheapest integrations in the space, and we're always happy to like work with you guys on it too. Carl asks, what if you want to ask the same people on a list more than once over time? So yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, Garrett, can you go over to, yeah, so over here in complete.
Oh, here it is, sorry.
Yeah,
complete.
So yeah, so we have a bit of a duplicate suppression here baked into Grade S, which is a really great thing for you guys in case there's any duplicates inside of Mailchimp or Salesforce, and the bulk upload is super cool because you can get everyone in there at once. We don't want to spam people though, right? And so, but if you guys want to ask them more than once, what you can do is just look at your duplicate suppression days here, so the days before we're moving from the completed list. So if you want to lower that to less than 180 days, then within 90 days, anyone that you've added can be asked again. But if you want to raise that covers you. And what we don't want to be doing is sending people spam. Obviously, I think we all know that. But this kind of gives you a sense of kind of like how much time you want in between sending it to people. Andre says, "What's up, Sam? I'll see you tomorrow." Cool, dude. I'm excited. Square point of sale. That's a great call out. I've heard that a few times. That is really cool. We need to talk about that, Andreas. Does this work for person accounts in Salesforce? Asked Garrett. I'm unfamiliar with person accounts. James, do you know, or Garrett, do you know what person accounts are in Salesforce?
I am not familiar. I'm familiar with contacts, leads, and opportunities. Are you asking Garrett about a personal account, or is it might be something else? Why don't we send an email to Sam with some more details about specifically person accounts? Because as far as I know right now, and I don't think this is connected to our Salesforce instance. So I think what we have set up here is either contacts and leads or leads. Let me go to that real quick.
Yeah, we have it set up so that you can do either you can do just contacts, just leads, or contacts and leads. And so you're able to sort of segment within your own Salesforce instance that way. If what you're referring to is using the off-the-shelf Salesforce account object, I believe that is something else that we could potentially listen for. Sam might have to dig around and see what the technical implications are. But that's definitely something we can look into.
Cool. Yeah, just let me know more about it. I mean, James is the wizard, right? And so we can figure out ways to make things work, which is why we're in beta right now. We're trying to get this ready for you guys. Yes to Zapier. Yes, and Zapier's, yeah, Zapier can be kind of challenging for a lot of folks. Andres just said booyah with 2 exclamation points. I'm stoked on that. Active Campaign, that was high up too. That's a little bit below Constant Contact. I think because Constant Contact has some HIPAA stuff that some of them do not, other ones don't. Yeah, okay, so you just said that right below that, Carl. Yes, okay, so yes, Constant Contact, they're HIPAA compliant. Mailchimp isn't. I think Active Campaign is or is not. I'm not sure. So Constant
and Garrett
Contact.
chimed in too, quick, real quick. He said person accounts are a hybrid between regular accounts and contacts specifically for individuals. So it seems like it's a type of account. So it would be contacts probably. It'd be interesting to test that out, Garrett, to see if like just the contacts were, like if the contacts address that specific type of person account. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess you guys will have to look into that from a technical standpoint.
Yeah. Yes, we can dig into that. We'll look at, James, we can just look at that and see if it's an option.
Absolutely. If those person accounts are, if that's like an off-the-shelf Salesforce object or something that they have out of the box, same as leads or contacts, then adding, yes, it's certainly something that we should be able to add pretty easily.
So Constant Contact, HubSpot, QuickBooks Online are next. Did I miss one? The fast follow after that, Andreas, will probably be Infusionsoft, also known as Keep. It seems like that is getting a lot of attention from you guys, but we're always open to figuring out how to better do this. I think one of the other things we'll be looking at more too is like, we did this one direction. We did this from whatever third-party application you're using, integrate us, because we know that pushing it back the other way is important, but there'll be a lot of different use cases, and we want to be really smart about how we handle that with you guys, and figure out what the best way is to have this bi-directional. And that's another thing that we'll be working on too, to make sure that if you upload information or if someone leaves a review or whatever information we have, we can get that back over to whatever platform you need it on. But there's there's a million options there, and so we want to be smart about it. But yeah, you have the list right. A little off topic, when can we get segmented reviews and then stream more? This looks like a widget question. and then string more targeted reviews to specific product pages. Yeah, so you're talking about like filtering, David, and that's that will be, we're gonna attack that Q1. It's something that's like near and dear to Garrett in my heart, and it's something that is like we're working on our reporting, and like once we get that nailed down, we'll have the ability to add that to things like our widgets and kind of like level those up. So that's coming around the corner, and kind of involves some of the work we're doing on reporting right now. I currently use HubSpot and Zapier, and my customer change a field, and I have my customer change a field in HubSpot that brings that contact over to Gradus. Nice, yeah. So you can. Oh, the other cool thing that's different is that Zapier has like limits on the number of interactions you can have, and so we don't charge you guys for any of those interactions. So you can reach any of those. You can like reach the limits inside Zapier occasionally, and like we're just not. We get charged for them, but we're not charging you guys. Person, yeah, so hybrid. Will you charge for Zapier in the future too? No, we won't charge for Zapier because you will have to pay for that. Oh, Andreas, love him from Afshan. Nice. Yeah, so Andreas asks, are we HIPAA compliant? So yeah, so we're always working towards HIPAA compliant. It's like a moving target, and every single time that we just like inch closer and closer and being inside that like HIPAA compliant like range. A lot of people will say that they're you know, like perfectly HIPAA compliant. It's actually more like an area that we're in, and yes, to where all of our lawyers are saying that we're good. So yes, I tried to emphasize that because you had three question marks behind it. Follow up to re-asking once I set the number of days not to re-ask if I want to. So following up asking, once I set the number of days not to re-ask, I want to ask the same person again. Is that a manual step I need to take in Gradus?
Yes, I think so. So the idea there, I think, Sam, Carl's asking is there any way? So if there's a specific person, right, Carl, that you didn't want to suppress, do you have to go in and manually allow that person to be re-added? And that would be the case. You would basically go to the review requests, I believe, Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, and then go into whatever list they're at in terms of in queue, active, and complete, and then remove them. And then I believe that would allow them to be re-added, correct? Or no? Are they done?
Yeah, you can do that. That
Yeah.
works too. Yeah, sorry, I was having a hard time.
No, I'm with you. So basically, you would have to go in. You would go in, find the person, and then just click this X button. And then when you re-added them through any of the systems, they would get re-added. But as long as they're in here and it's within that suppression day, they wouldn't get re-added. Cool. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Wish us luck with infusion stuff. I've actually heard that a little bit too, but we'll figure it out. I mean, it seems like it's really popular, so we'll get it done. Nice, Ari.
Oh, hey, Ari. Cool.
Any plans to offer a second campaign? It could be a different language, for example. Yeah, so that's another thing that Garrett and I talk about a ton is like having actual campaigns that you can segment. So this is like you guys are like entering Garrett's and my like one-on-one chats now.
My mouth.
So yeah, that's another thing that we're pursuing pretty heavily, and I think we'll make some attempts on in Q1 of next year is segmenting out these campaigns for you guys so we can one, it helps when you have clients who have different needs, i.e. a language is a really great example, and you know helps with reporting too, so you know kind of like what's working, what isn't. So that's really exciting.
Speaking of which, depending on, we may be having the next office hours, which would be December 20th, assuming everything goes according to plan. But like like Sam and the team are working on some really exciting things that, you know, we're gonna start rolling out soon. That's really gonna continue to just increase the value of Grade Us when you're trying to, report on the performance of the software. I don't know if you want to give them any sort of preview at this point, Sam, but it looks like we're through the majority of the questions in this section of the office hours.
We can, yeah, you guys want to get crazy?
You don't have to show them anything now, but if you want to just like let them know kind of what we're working on. Aside from that, I wanted to share the awesome the awesome case study that I did with Carl. And Carl's knocking it out of the park with his healthcare clients, and really compelling reason to showcase Grade Us. But totally up to you if you want to, or wait till December or January.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. I mean, let's see if we get through some stuff. What I really want to know is, like, are you guys excited? Are you guys excited about this integrations feature? If so, I want to work with you on it to make it work for you guys. And so please reach out to me, Sam at Grade Us. I will flip you on. We'll go through the onboarding together, and we'll get you set up. I mean, this is something that, like, will change how your clients, view Grade Us, and like dramatically increase your retention with them, because they're going to see the benefits of it. It's like, it will be like crystal clear that they're getting reviews. And so that is like the biggest thing that we can give you guys, and making that automated, making you not have to pound your clients to get those contacts in there, is going to be, I think, a huge help. So yeah, let me know if I can set you up, and we'll get going. Oh,
just to
yeah,
clarify
let's go
too, Joanne asked, it's actually the 22nd. Tuesday the 22nd would be the next one. But yeah, y'all should reach out to Sam. He's been having so many great conversations with all of our great customers, and I think it's just going to only make the product so much better. Like, what you guys are working on is really exciting. I'm really just proud of Sam and our engineering team. They, have been working really hard on this product, and it makes me excited. I've been with the company for 4 years, and just the things that his mastermind brain is getting together is going to be great for you, and especially for our agencies, in terms of like being able to help your clients, because that's our thing is for small businesses and enterprises, we want to help you grow using reviews. For agencies, we want to continue to really help you grow your agency, resell the product, add reputation management value to local SEO, social media marketing, whatever you're already doing. And to Sam's point, there's opportunities to upsell with things like this integrations feature, especially if your clients already have that specific app. So yeah, anything else that you wanted to touch base on, Sam, for our audience?
Just giving some props to James too. James is a legend. He's the wizard. He like makes it all work behind the scenes. It's been really fun to work on.
Couldn't have done it without you, Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, but just like make sure to hit me up. Let's get you guys like set up with these things. Let me know if we don't have your integration yet. And we're working on getting those next 3 or 4 like rolling pretty quick, and then let's get your clients happy. Let's get them stoked on these reviews, because it'll drive some business.
I'm excited. I'm enjoying, doing these office hours. It's great to have James on, great to have Sam on. One thing just wanted to show to y'all, if you go to the blog.grade.us, you'll see the case study that we did with Carl, who's in here. His agency, MarketVisory Group, works with, over 90% of their clients are healthcare. I would actually recommend reaching out to Carl if you have any HIPAA compliance questions. He's a great resource and does consulting as well. If you want to work on make sure that you're HIPAA compliant, whether it's through Grade Us or your email, service provider, or whatever marketing that you're doing. So Carl chatted with me about a podiatry client that he had, and how over the course of a year, I'm going to jump right to the results because it's just really exciting. But basically, they had 41 reviews. They had a 3.3 overall rating. It's a relatively competitive, industry and area that he was in for podiatry outside of Illinois. So they needed to improve the ratings and definitely improve the quantity of reviews to be able to compete and show up in search. So he installed patient reviews on the client's website. He created the Grade Us review funnel, focusing primarily on Google, Facebook, and Yelp. He completed a BAA with us, which we do offer. You can reach out to sales@grade.us if you have any questions about getting a BAA set up. And so in terms of the results, which is amazing, over the course of the year, they got 54 more reviews, and the rating actually climbed up to a 4.7. So they doubled their review count. They raised their rating in a third of the time. So you can see here 115% increase in the quantity of reviews, a 1.4 star rating. It's awesome. It's just so cool what Carl did.
Holy cow, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's unbelievable. Sent it out to 700 patients. So one thing that I love that Carl did, which is the second part of this case study, is he used the email review requests campaign. So the 3 emails over the course of 7 days, because the reality is, you know, people don't unintentionally not leave you a review. It's just people are busy. And so sometimes they need those follow-ups, they need those reminders. And that's one of those features that Sam was talking about that's so important, is sending out the review request in the first place. It's one thing just to ask someone, you know, in person, hey, can you leave us a review? But sending up the email request and then setting up the reminder, the campaign drip. And so when he did that, this was really cool. So what Carl did is he reached out on behalf of the client to the customers who left reviews to find out when they actually wrote the review. And he found that out of the 54 reviews that they earned over the course of the year, only 5 reviews came from that first email. 49 reviews actually came from email 2 and 3. So if you are using Grade Us and you're only sending out 1 email, highly, highly, highly recommend that you use the campaign drip to send out a second and a third email, because when it comes down to it, 91% of his patients needed a reminder to leave a review. You know, and anyone can look at the data, as thanks Carl, on Grade Us to you can actually look at the data on Grade Us to see which review resulted or which email resulted in the review. You can see that in your reporting, and our reporting is only going to improve to show the value of reviews. So incredible case study, really highlights the value prop of Grade Us for your clients or for your business, as well as using a review request email campaign drip to follow up with your customers, because a lot of times it's the second and the third email that ultimately gets the review. So we got a few more questions that came in. Carl, how did he get those in the system? Is a lot of what he did, I believe, is from having the patient reviews page on his client's website. The BAA is a business associates agreement, just a deal for HIPAA compliance. Andres, I recommend for your healthcare customers just reaching out to Carl, and you guys can set up a call to just chat about what has worked for him. And then so this fourth part to your question is, he worked with doctors in the front desk staff to identify the best way to ask patients for the review. With Grade Us, we provide all of these different options, whether it's just asking the patient in person, using the actual kiosk mode where you would have the Grade Us review funnel on an iPad or tablet, like in the office. And then what happens with the kiosk mode is it emails the review that's written in the office to the patient, so they can then copy and paste that review on the third-party review site after the fact, so it doesn't trigger any sort of, against the rules, doing all the reviews from the same IP that Google sometimes tracks. They don't always do it, but technically you shouldn't always have reviews come from the same location, so the kiosk mode avoids that. Or having the actual practice upload the patients in bulk. And what Carl decided on is the best choice is having the front desk staff upload the patient names in bulk on Tuesdays and Thursdays afternoon. That's the key, is really setting up a protocol with your clients and making sure they're in it. the idea is hopefully as we add more of these integrations, or if you do already have Mailchimp or Salesforce, that you'll be able to automate this process so you don't have to rely on the clients to upload, the recipient information. But that really worked for Carl. He also sent the automated progress report to the client. And as you can see, the client is really happy with these results. Carl, do you use SMS at all or only email? I believe you only used email for this, but you can answer at the bottom there. I know, Andres, you love using SMS with your clients. Oh, use SMS as well. Okay, which makes sense because we're seeing a lot of success when I anecdotally talk to greatest customers. I'm sure you've heard this as well, Sam, is that text is even more effective from time to time when it comes to review requests because people open up, text significantly more often and right away when it comes to email. Do you have any thoughts on that, Sam, anecdotally?
Yeah, anecdotally, so like Twilio tells you that like 95% of people will open a text, right? And you can see kind of that emails, depending on your industry, your open rates can be anywhere from 5 to 20%, right? So texts are going to be like way more likely to be opened, and the timing. What just to back up what Garrett said too, the timing of it is so important. The timing of it to make sure that you communicate, if you can, that they're going to be asked for a review and doing it as soon as you can after when they were serviced. You're going to have a way higher likelihood of having them leave that review. But yeah, text is supposed to be the definitely the gold standard right now, I feel like, in terms of getting these reviews in.
Yeah, I feel like it's also becoming more acceptable, like in the US, for a business to interact with their customers via text. I'd say, 5-10 years ago, as a customer, you might have more people be affronted or different demographics not be used to that. But now, like, texting is so pervasive. I know, like, when I went to my dentist a few months ago, they set me up for not only notification about the appointment via text, but also, sent up the review request afterwards. And I sent him a review. Same with my pet groomer. Pet groomers are awesome when it comes to marketing these days. They, for some reason, and maybe everybody's adapted more effectively when it comes to COVID and having to, work around different states' rules when it comes to shutdowns. Like, you need to still be able to communicate with your customers, and digital solutions, you need to be efficient. I know we're all tight on our budgets, and so that's why some of the most effective businesses, especially when we do reopen, are continually asking for reviews, because that's always going to generate more customers. Because the way people find businesses these days, especially when it comes to local and any sort of near me, intent related search on Google on your phone, reviews are a major part of how you evaluate it. Do you, James, Sam, anecdotally, when you guys are searching online, how do you look at reviews? I'm curious of what you look for in the reviews of a business before you use that business.
I put quite a bit of stock in reviews, honestly. I'll go through tiers, so I'll do my sort of first pass, and if you're below, 3.5 or below stars or below, you're just not even in the running. I'm not even going to look at your reviews. And then, beyond there, I like to kind of get an idea for who's for what of the people who had bad experiences, what was their bad experience like? Of the people who had great experiences, what was their great experience like? And kind of suss it out from there. But I put a very good amount of stock in reviews, and pretty much everyone I know does as well.
Yep, Sam, same for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're a biased audience, though.
I mean, it's the truth.
It is.
That's how I make these choices.
Joanne, I just included the link to the case study in the chat. So for all of you who want to check that out, that's there. This has been awesome. So just wanted to reiterate one more time before we get to the end that we're excited for you to try out integrations. We're always excited to hear your feedback and ideas of how you continue to use Grade Us and what you want to see. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with Sam. sam@grade.us. Just shoot him an email. He'll turn on the integrations feature for you. We'll keep you posted. Check our newsletters for when we're adding new integrations. We'll be continually adding those on a rolling basis. Always check the newsletter. We're updating with our blog content. As always, if any of you are interested in participating in a case study, I annoy Sam. I'm like, hey, if you talk to anyone, can you see if they're interested in the case study every time? So if you're interested in showcasing, we'd be happy to have you hop on a conversation with me, Garrett at grade.us, GARRETT. And check out the podcast. I'm always doing the Agency Ahead podcast by Traject. For any of you who are agencies, we're always having really interesting people on the podcast that benefit a range of different marketing topics. So here's a link to the podcast. But just wanted to thank you all again as we get to the holidays. Very thankful to Thanksgiving to have you all as customers. We really appreciate your business. You are the reason that we do what we do, and just want to continue to improve the product and value your opinion. So have a happy holiday. We'll keep you posted, but the plan as of right now is to have our next office hours on December 22nd. So keep your eyes peeled for the email for that. And everyone be safe out there. And thanks again. Say goodbye, James and Sam.
Bye, guys.